Wonderful people, fellow couch gamers, my name is Sunny, thank you for tuning in. A new map, or shall I say, an updated old map, although it's not updated in the most exquisite way possible because there's plenty of mesh holes and glitches in the textures and all that left. But that's not to say that the map is very beautiful and very nice to play in. It's gigantic, so it's normal that there's gonna be a few more gaps here and there, though there's like a gazillion gaps everywhere. It's incredible. The 3 parts you saw now, I will include later in the video. These are the mesh spots, and all the other spots are just regular rat holes or small base spots. So stick around until the end of the video if you want to see the mesh holes, or just skip ahead. So to keep things interesting, I'm going to start off with a rather interesting spot as well, in a little lake, in a little pond, in a cave, where the water stops abruptly where it shouldn't stop, and you can build behind it. You can place a generator there, and then you can place your turrets in the water, so that should cause some mayhem. For this first spot, you technically don't need a flying mount, or you technically do need a flying mount, depends how you look at it. It's in the floating islands, so it's in the cave there, but it's on the flat grounds. I'm going to show the immediate vicinity as well, just in case you don't find this one particular entrance. In the middle you have this huge rock. So if you find this huge rock, you're nearby. Just in between the entrance and the huge rock we have this water pool, and this is the pool where you can build in or build behind in. And the next spot I'm going to show is also in this area. So this little secret here would be excellent to keep some of your loot safe. Coordinates and map once more for reference, and let's move on to the next spot. Still near this pool of water you can find a small rat hole. And the next spot is also in this area, very close. So with that one covered, let's move on to the last spot in this immediate vicinity. Here we are once again in the same area. The next spot is very close, but it's tucked away neatly, and I think it should do for a very good solo base or duo base spot. Probably just as most of you, I'm still new to this map, so I do not know if you can get to these spots in the floating islands without a flying mount. You might be able to spawn here, you might not. I have no idea, so don't ask me. Right here above us you have the glitch lake, the glitch pond, however you want to call it, and to the left of us you have this little cave that would suit perfect for a little base. The only thing you have to cover really is the front and this little tiny gap in the ceiling. And perhaps mine that iron ore, so there's no reason for anyone to come in here. The entrance once more for reference, and on to the next spot, also in this area but not in this cave. Another tiny spot located in between metal rocks, so that's always good. You might need a flyer or a hookshot to get in here, it's not that high up. It's right by this huge waterfall, which is one of the entrances to the cave we were previously in. And keep this waterfall in mind, because we're going to return to this waterfall a couple of more times. No, it's not up there, but right in here. And first you have this little crevice of nothing where you can't really build much. But then right in the back here, in between those metal rocks, you have this natural foliage that will keep you covered all the time. Because this foliage shouldn't de-render like rocks and shrubs do, the ones you can harvest. Those de-render from a distance, so those are never good cover for a base. But like redwood trees, natural shrubbery, rocks you cannot mine, those do not de-render from a... well, those do de-render from a distance, but they don't de-render from the distance that your base renders. Does that make sense? Well, I hope it makes sense, and if it doesn't, just let me know in the comments. I know I didn't build anything or try to build anything here, but I tried it off camera and you can build here. So on to the next spot, shall we? Back at the waterfall. And we want to go in this one. I'm going to zoom in on. And if you want to find your way easily, you want to go in by the purple mushrooms on the right. That's about the area where you want to enter. Oh my god, lag, frame lag. This map runs shit on Xbox. Yeah, I'm on Xbox, by the way. Alright, let's try this again. Purple mushrooms on the right, a little bit below it. Oh, can't seem to do it right though. Lag. Oh, wow, whatever. A little space to build in, not that big, but yeah, it's big enough for a solo or two-man tribe, or to keep some items safe, I guess. And coordinates and map once more for reference. And on to the next spot. Once again, the map and the coordinates. I know I'm showing these multiple times on the same areas, but it's just in case people skip ahead and they end up in this part, they don't have to look for the coordinates. The next spot is to the left of the huge waterfall. It's in a little gap behind the root. There's also a small gap before the root, but you cannot get through there. As you can see, you can build here. It's not that big, but it might suit as a small respawn shack or respawn place. It continues into the back, but I don't think you can place down anything here. Maybe a sleeping bag or something like that. Something small to keep your safe stuff. I'm getting tired. I meant something small to keep your stuff safe. Now on to a tiny bit bigger rat hole-ish location, if I may call it that. It's not really a rat hole. It might be considered a rat hole. Not really. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Map and coordinates. We are still in the floating islands. This whole video is basically about the floating islands. Alright, let's head up. The base spot is right up there. Small island just beneath us. You can use that for reference if you do not have GPS. And then just go straight up. It's a tiny bit bigger than the other one that I just showed. Probably best used to keep some stuff safe. Maybe place a generator in a couple of turrets. Or use it as a respawn shack. Also, some wild dinos seem to love to spawn here. It continues a little to the back here, just like the other one. A little bit bigger. And with all this out of the way, we're getting to the very interesting stuff. Oh, wait, not just yet. I keep forgetting everything. Do you know how many times I had to re-edit these parts because I had to slide in another video? Oh my god. Map and coordinates. For this final, not very interesting yet interesting spot, we have a regular base spot in the cave in the floating islands. It has very nice natural coverage. There's these vines that will cover your base for about 90%, I guess. The only thing that it won't cover is light, so be careful with that. And okay, now we can go on to the very interesting stuff. Right here in front of us, in this singular floating island in the middle, below it, probably my favorite place in this whole video, you have one particular spot where you can place a cliff platform, and it's like hidden in the mesh, but it's not really mesh. Truly one of my favorite spots on this map that I found so far. Secretly, I wish that they won't fix this one spot. They can fix all the rest except this one spot. I love this spot. This is my spot. The only maybe downfall is that you're like next to some kind of waterfall and it creates a noise. So once you're up here, just look for the tendrils, for the hanging vines, and the waterfall is just in this stalactite. If you want a trick how to distinguish a stalagmite from a stalactite, just think that a tite sounds like a tit and a tit hangs. And it might be tricky to place down that one cliff platform, but as you can see here, this is the best you can manage, at least in my opinion. It sticks out on both the left and the right side. I think it's better to have a tiny bit on either side sticking out than a larger bit on one side sticking out. It might come down to personal preference in the end. Let's get on to the next part, how to properly get into the mesh. Now you probably want a pterodon or something not bigger than a pterodon to get in here. You can also do it by parachute, but since you probably need a pterodon to get up here anyway, I didn't include that part of the video. Once you're here, you might already have unloaded the texture, but since there's a limited time to get into the mesh, it's always better to reload the texture and then to unload the texture once again. The cool thing about this part, which I'm going to show first, is that you have an additional cliff in the mesh where you can set up a turret tower, so it will be nigh impossible to get to your mesh base, which I will show later. I might not include the coordinates. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to include that in the video. I might keep this a bit tricky for people to find, because I don't like dead giveaways when it comes down to meshing. I hope you all understand. Gotta keep a bit of mystery to it, because you have limited time to get there. It's possible with a parachute, but I'll show you in the video how many seconds you have. As you can see, I made it just in time with the pterodon, but you can make it just in time with a parachute as well. As soon as you jump off the cliff, immediately pop your parachute and hold forward. There's water here. There's a couple of ways to move your loot. I will show that in just a minute. Place a crate out of the mesh, hidden in a bush or next to a rock, and then from inside the mesh you can access that crate. You can also put a vault here or build a small base, which will give you easier access to your loot. But that might also be kind of a giveaway that someone is meshing. Although that's how I always did it and things went fine. I only got banned like 3 times. Also, even after switching off creative mode, I couldn't find any kill zones, nor could I find any teleport zones. You also have access to water here if you want to know how to tap water which is up in the air. Attach a triangle foundation to the wall, basically, to the cliff wall, and then just put your pipe on there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Do I need to make a video for that? Or will you guys manage? Yeah, you might have seen some Carcinos up there as well. This spot is proper OP. And now on to the final bonus bit of this video. It's not in the floating islands, it's in the swamp or in the jungle. There's at least one of the trees that I know of where you can walk into the textures. But unfortunately you cannot build in this tree. You can still log out in this tree or make an ult and keep him there and stash him full of loot, but otherwise you cannot do much here. Not that I know of, at least. Oh yeah, by the way, don't get stuck in this hole, because you might not be able to get back out. Unless you're in creative mode, that is. But that wraps up the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I thank you for watching. Please leave a comment, like or subscribe. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye bye.
Got him! Got him!